Welcome back, everyone. Ready for another deep dive?
Always.
Awesome. Today, we're going to be exploring a world where goddesses, well, they aren't just these ethereal beings, They're powerful figures with complexities and flaws that make them, well, surprisingly relatable. Yeah. We'll be taking a deep dive into the Book of Devi, a book that offers like this captivating look into the lives of these multifaceted female figures, all from Hindu mythology.
And what's really cool about the Book of Devi is that it goes beyond just, retelling those myths that we all know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it delves into the nuances of these goddesses, really gets into it, pulling
Yeah.
from all sorts of different sources, like the epics, obviously.
Right, the Ramayana and Mahabharata.
Yeah, exactly. But it also looks at some lesser-known folk traditions, which is really interesting.
One thing that really stuck with me from the book was the author's personal connection to these stories. I mean, the way she describes her grandmother's prayer room, it's like you step right into this world where these goddesses were almost like family members.
For sure.
Right, with all their triumphs and their struggles and everything.
Absolutely. And it makes you realize that, these myths, they weren't just stories. They were woven into, everyday life, passed down for generations, shaping people's beliefs, their values.
Yeah.
It's not just about these distant deities. It's about understanding, I think, the human experience through these lenses, through these divine lenses.
Yeah, and the book's descriptions are so vivid. Durga riding a lion, wielding weapons from all the gods, Saraswati gliding gracefully on her swan, Lakshmi emerging from the churning ocean. I mean, it's captivating.
Oh, absolutely. And these descriptions, they go beyond mere symbolism, I think. They bring the goddesses to life. They highlight their personalities, their powers. I mean, take Durga's lion, for example.
Okay.
It's not just a mount, right?
Right.
It represents her untamed energy, her mastery over the forces of nature.
It's a powerful image. So let's talk about Durga. The book mentions that she has countless forms and names. I mean, Kali, Bhadrakali, Jagadamba. I mean, it's almost overwhelming, the sheer variety.
It is. And I think Durga's multifaceted nature is really key to understanding why she's had such enduring appeal.
Okay.
She's not static. She's not confined to a single role. She evolves, she adapts, taking on different forms to meet the needs of her devotees. In one story, she even emerges from Vishnu himself.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. It really highlights her connection to preserving cosmic order.
Oh, wow. And speaking of preserving order, the book describes Durga's battle against the buffalo demon Mahishasura. I mean, it's this epic showdown where the gods, they literally give her their weapons.
Yeah, and this isn't just a typical good versus evil battle. The Mahishasura Margini myth, that's what it's called, it speaks to Durga's role as protector of cosmic balance.
I see.
Right? The fact that all the gods, they contribute their weapons, shows that her power comes from a collective divine force, a unity of energies.
Right. So it's not just her own power. It's like the combined might of all these gods.
Exactly. She embodies the strength of the entire pantheon in a way. But then, we have Sati, who's also a form of Durga, but takes on a very different role as Shiva's devoted wife, Uma.
Right. So it's like she's embodying these contrasting aspects as duality almost.
Yes, definitely. And Sati's story is such a poignant one.
Yeah.
It really explores loyalty, sacrifice. We see this unwavering devotion to Shiva, even when her own father is, well, let's just say, not a fan.
Yeah, he has some strong opinions about Shiva.
Right. And that incident where she's excluded from the sacrifice at her father's house, it's a turning point, a real turning point that leads to this, tragic self-immolation.
It's such a powerful act, albeit heartbreaking. But the myth doesn't end there, right?
No, it doesn't.
Sati is reborn as Parvati and has to win Shiva back. It's like almost a cosmic love story in a way.
It is. And Parvati's dedication, it's remarkable. She undergoes these intense austerities, She refuses to give up on her love for Shiva. It highlights the cyclical nature of life, death, and rebirth in Hindu thought. And I think the idea that true love can conquer even the most, formidable obstacles.
It's a beautiful concept.
Yeah.
It's fascinating how these myths delve into such profound themes. Speaking of profound, let's talk about Lakshmi.
Oh, Lakshmi, the goddess of fortune.
Yes, I was so intrigued by how the book portrays her. She's both the embodiment of fickle wealth and unwavering loyalty to Vishnu. I mean, how do you reconcile those two?
It's a fascinating duality. Lakshmi's evolution is really a study in itself. In earlier texts, she's more of an independent goddess.
Yeah.
But in later epics, she becomes Vishnu's consort, representing this feminine aspect of existence alongside his masculine energy.
Oh, I see. So it's about balance again.
Right. It's about balance. The book talks about how their union symbolizes the balance between, like, the material and the spiritual.
That makes sense.
And then there's that story of Lakshmi being cursed into becoming a mare.
A mare. Wow.
Yeah, a horse. Even in that form, her devotion to Vishnu, it never wavers.
That's incredible. I mean, to maintain that loyalty, even after being transformed like that, it's really something.
It is. And it really speaks to Lakshmi's character, this unwavering loyalty and the idea that true devotion, it goes beyond outward appearances.
It transcends circumstances.
Yeah.
It's a reminder that fortune, it can be fleeting, but true commitment, that remains.
Well said.
Okay. Let's move on to Saraswati, the goddess of knowledge and learning. What I find so fascinating is that she stays relevant throughout, Hindu mythology. She evolves from this Vedic river goddess to a patron of the arts and sciences. I mean, how does she manage that?
Saraswati embodies this transformative power of knowledge and creativity. Her journey kind of reflects this ever-evolving nature of wisdom, constantly adapting to new contexts but retaining its core essence.
Right, so it's not static. It's always changing, growing.
Exactly.
Okay, well, the book mentions her different origin stories, and they're quite diverse. I mean, in some, she's born from Brahma.
The creator god.
Yeah. Well, others connect her to thunder, clouds, rain. There's even depictions of her with a fiery temper,
Oh, yeah.
cursing the gods when they wrong her.
That's right. And I think these contrasting depictions reveal the layers to her personality.
Right, it's not just one-dimensional.
She's not just this, passive symbol of knowledge. She's a dynamic force capable of both creation and destruction. Her anger, while it seems negative, also shows her commitment to justice.
Right, she's not going to let injustice stand.
Exactly.
So she represents this full spectrum of intellectual and creative energy, from, its serene beauty to its raw power.
That's a great way to put it. And it makes her more relatable, don't you think?
I think so.
It reminds us that even wisdom, even creativity can be born from passion, even conflict.
Right, it's not always peaceful and serene,
Yeah.
There's that element of struggle and challenge.
Exactly. It's part of the process.
All right, let's dive into the story of Sita now. Rama's devoted wife in the epic Ramayana. She's often seen as this, ideal figure, right, for Hindu wives, but her journey is, it's definitely not easy.
No, it's not. Sita's story, it's really a testament to resilience, to inner strength.
Yeah.
Her abduction by Ravana.
Oh, right, the demon king?
Yeah, and her exile in Lanka. I mean, talk about testing your resolve.
It's unimaginable.
But she never wavers in her devotion to Rama,
Right.
or to righteousness.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
And the book highlights how her birth itself is kind of extraordinary.
Yeah.
She's not, born from a womb.
Right.
She emerges from the earth.
Ah.
It's symbolic, right, of her purity, her connection to nature.
It is this divine origin. It really sets her apart. She embodies the qualities of, a pativrata wife.
Right.
Devoted, loyal, unwavering. But her story, I think, it goes beyond simply upholding these traditional roles.
Yeah.
She faces challenges that force her to tap into this inner strength. She demonstrates incredible resilience.
She has to. And speaking of challenges, her decision to follow Rama into exile,
Yeah.
even though he warns her about all the hardships they'll face.
Right. He tells her it's not going to be easy.
It's a powerful moment, I think. It really showcases your agency.
It does.
She chooses to share his fate, knowing the risks, the hardships. It's driven by love, sure, but also this deep sense of duty, this commitment to righteousness.
Absolutely. It's about standing by what you believe in, even when it's hard.
Yeah. But even after enduring so much, she faces these further trials. The Uttarakhand, that later addition to the Ramayana,
Right.
it portrays her final ordeal, where she chooses to return to the earth rather than, endure all this further scrutiny and doubt.
It's a tragic ending in a way, but you could also see it as like a final act of defiance.
Oh, interesting. How so?
Well, she's choosing her own fate. She's refusing to be a pawn in these games that men are playing. It highlights the complexities of her character and the challenges she faces in, a patriarchal society.
It's a reminder that even the most, idealized figures, they have their own struggles. They make difficult choices.
Exactly. Nobody's perfect, and their stories reflect that.
Right. Okay. Now, let's shift gears a bit to a completely different kind of love story.
Okay.
Let's talk about Radha,
Ah, Krishna's beloved.
Yes, it's
Mm.
so intriguing that her story isn't really in, the main Krishna-centric Purana,
It's true.
but her tale, this forbidden love story, it's captured the imagination of so many.
It has. Radha's story, it mainly exists in, the later Puranas, and it's really an exploration of unconventional love and devotion. Her relationship with Krishna, it breaks societal norms.
Yeah.
It challenges traditional ideas about marriage, about fidelity.
Yeah, it pushes those boundaries.
It does.
And the book really highlights the passionate, often tumultuous nature of their relationship.
Why it's not all, sunshine and roses. There's
Ugh.
jealousy, there's longing, a sense of unfulfilled desire. It's a very human love story in a way.
It is. And I think Radha's story, it resonates with people who see her as this, tragic heroine,
Mhm.
forced to meet her beloved in secret, torn between, her love for Krishna as what society expects of her.
Absolutely. She's trapped between her heart and her duty in a way.
Yeah, exactly. And their first encounter, as described in the Brahma Vaivarta Purana,
Oh, yes.
it's both captivating and playful.
How so?
Well, Krishna, known for his mischievous nature, he transforms himself into an infant to, well, to conceal their lovemaking.
Oh, wow. That's classic Krishna. Always up to something. But it also, I think, underscores the secrecy, the forbidden nature of their relationship.
Right, has to be hidden.
It's a love that exists outside the boundaries,
Yeah.
A union driven by pure passion and devotion.
Right, it's this undeniable connection. And it's interesting because Radha, she isn't just this, passive love-struck figure.
No, not at all.
The book describes her as complex,
Oh, for sure.
showcasing her jealousy, even her pride, especially that story with Chandravali. These emotions, I think they add depth to her character.
They do. They make her relatable. I mean, her jealousy, her pride, they're expressions of her love for Krishna, a love so intense it just defies, conventional expectations.
It's all-consuming.
It embraces the messiness of human emotions.
Right. Okay, speaking of defying expectations, let's shift to Ganga now, the river goddess.
Oh, Ganga.
Her journey, it takes her from like this powerful, untamed force of nature to a symbol of purification and liberation. It's quite a transformation.
It is. Ganga's descent to Earth, it's a dramatic story. It involves this, desperate need to purify the land and liberate those souls of King Sagara's sons. It's a story of immense power,
Yeah.
both destructive and transformative.
It's a powerful combination. The book, it vividly describes Bhagirath's, penance to bring Ganga down to earth and Shiva's crucial role in containing her overwhelming power.
It's a real team effort, right?
It is.
It highlights the connection between the divine and the mortal realms.
Right, they have to work together.
Bhagirath's devotion, it moves the gods.
Yeah.
And Shiva steps in to ensure that Ganga's power, while immense, can be used to benefit humanity.
That imagery of Ganga being caught in Shiva's hair, it's stunning.
It is.
It speaks to this idea of, bringing her untamed energy under control, channeling it for this higher purpose.
Right. Taming the wild. It's a powerful symbol of transformation. Ganga's descent, initially, it's this torrent of rage and destruction, but it becomes a source of purification, of liberation.
It's like taking something, potentially destructive and turning it into something positive.
Exactly. And it speaks to this potential that even the wildest forces, they can be harnessed for good.
That's a powerful message. And her significance, it doesn't end there, right?
Yeah.
She plays a role in the Mahabharata.
Oh, a crucial one. She's the mother of Bhishma, one of the epic's most pivotal figures.
Right, right. So Ganga's influence, it extends beyond just the natural world, right?
Absolutely. She shapes destinies, she guides heroes, and ultimately she contributes to the grand narrative of Hindu mythology. Her journey reminds us that even the most powerful forces, they can be channeled for compassion, for liberation.
It's a beautiful concept.
Yeah.
Okay, let's shift our focus now to, the lesser known but equally important village goddesses. These deities, they're so deeply connected to their communities, offering protection, guidance, and, everyday life.
They are. The village goddesses, they provide this fascinating glimpse into the localized aspects of Hindu belief. They're often represented by, simple stones or trees.
Right.
But their power, it's deeply felt by their devotees.
The book, it emphasizes how their worship is so much more personal, more intimate.
Yeah.
Compared to, those grand rituals for the great goddesses. It's less about elaborate ceremonies and more about a direct connection, a heartfelt connection.
It's a reminder that the divine, it's accessible at all levels, from the cosmic to the everyday. The village goddesses, they embody that accessibility. They offer comfort, protection, guidance to their communities.
Right. And the stories about these village goddesses,
Yeah.
they're often passed down orally,
Mm-hmm.
evolving over time to reflect local events, local concerns. It's a living tradition, in a way.
It is. It adapts to the needs of the community. And that fluidity, that's key to the oral tradition.
Right.
These stories, they're not static, they're alive, they change, they adapt, reflecting the evolving beliefs of the people.
Yeah, so they're constantly being reshaped. The book shares this, intriguing tale of Manasa Devi, the snake goddess. This man, Chanda, he refuses to worship her.
Uh-oh.
And, well, things don't end well for his family. It's like a cautionary tale.
It is.
Reminding us that even these, seemingly lesser deities,
Yeah.
they hold immense power.
Manasa Devi's story, I think, it highlights the importance of respecting all aspects of the divine, regardless of their perceived status. Her power, it's often associated with serpents, venom, but it ultimately serves to protect and guide those who acknowledge her.
It's a reminder that in this rich tapestry of Hindu mythology, every thread, no matter how small, it contributes to the larger picture. And on a lighter note, there's the story of Shitala, the goddess who cures smallpox.
Okay.
Her tale speaks to the compassionate side of these deities, their ability to alleviate suffering, to offer solace in times of need.
Shitala, as a healer, she really emphasizes this, protective and nurturing aspect of the feminine divine. Her story, it offers comfort, it offers hope, reminding us that even in the face of disease, of hardship, there are these divine forces working to protect, to heal.
It's a comforting thought. It's fascinating to see how these village goddesses, while they're deeply rooted in their communities, they still connect to this larger pantheon, this intricate web of deities that makes up the Hindu cosmos.
It's a beautiful example of how Hindu mythology embraces both the universal and the particular. The great goddesses, they represent these cosmic forces, these archetypal energies, while the village goddesses, they offer this more localized, personal connection. It's this multi-layered system,
Right.
that allows for all this diversity in beliefs and practices, all interwoven into this rich and vibrant tapestry.
It's really amazing to see how these seemingly simple stories about these village goddesses, they actually tie into this vast and intricate web of Hindu mythology. But sometimes I wonder, with all these powerful gods and goddesses, these epic battles and cosmic events, like how do we relate to these stories today as modern day listeners? You can feel a bit overwhelming,
I know what you mean. It's a lot to take in, right? But I think it's important to remember that mythology, it operates on the symbolic level.
Okay.
These stories aren't meant to be taken literally. They're more like metaphors, I think, offering insights into the human experience, our emotions, our place in the universe.
So it's less about historical accuracy and more about understanding, these deeper truths, these universal patterns that we all kind of grapple with.
Exactly. Think of these myths as a way to explore the complexities of, human nature, our relationships, our search for meaning. They offer guidance, wisdom, even though they were created centuries ago.
Okay, I can see that. It's like instead of reading a history textbook, we're deciphering this like psychological map of the human experience.
Precisely. And just like a map, these stories can help us navigate complex terrain, showing us different paths, highlighting potential pitfalls, and ultimately guiding us towards, I think, a deeper understanding of ourselves.
Right, right. So let's apply that thinking to a few specific stories. Like take Sati's self-immolation, for example. It's powerful, but it can also feel, kind of disturbing to a modern audience.
Right.
How do we make sense of that today?
Sati's story is definitely a complex one. On one level, it's about, unwavering loyalty and sacrifice, but it also raises questions about societal pressures, the expectations placed upon women.
Yeah, it's like she's caught in this double bind almost.
Yeah.
She's devoted to her husband, but he's being disrespected by her own father. I mean, talk about a difficult situation.
Absolutely. And her tragic end, I think it forces us to confront the consequences of blind devotion and the need to find this balance between personal integrity and societal norms.
So we're not obviously condoning self-immolation.
Yeah.
But we can, I guess, appreciate the story's, symbolic power.
Right.
And how it raises these difficult questions about, female agency and the pressures women face.
Exactly. It's about peeling back the layers, engaging with the complexities, and finding those nuggets of wisdom that resonate with us.
Okay, let's take another example. Radha's love for Krishna. It's passionate, it's unconventional, it's ultimately, forbidden.
Yeah.
How do we interpret that in a modern context?
It's a great question. I think Radha's story really challenges, those traditional notions of love and devotion. Her passionate longing for Krishna, you could see it as this metaphor for the soul's yearning, for union with the divine.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
So it's less about like a physical relationship and more about this deep spiritual connection.
Exactly. It's about this desire to transcend the limitations of, earthly love.
Okay.
Radha's devotion, it represents that part of us that seeks something greater, something more fulfilling. And the fact that their love is, illicit, it adds another layer of complexity.
Right.
It suggests that true devotion, it can't be confined by rules or, societal expectations.
It's like she embodies that yearning for something that transcends the ordinary, a connection that like defies definition.
And in doing so, she challenges us to question our own beliefs about love, about devotion, and the nature of the divine.
Right. It makes you think. Okay, one last example, Ganga. She starts as this like wild, untamed force of nature and then undergoes this incredible transformation, becoming a symbol of, purification and liberation.
It's quite a journey.
What's the message there, do you think?
Ganga's journey, I think, it highlights this power of transformation and the importance of finding balance. Her descent from, chaos to order, from rage to tranquility, it mirrors our own potential for growth and evolution, I think.
So it's like we all have that wild, untamed energy within us, but it's through discipline, grace, and maybe a bit of divine intervention that we can channel it into something positive, something life-affirming.
Exactly. And Ganga's, purifying waters, they symbolize our own ability to cleanse ourselves of negativity, to let go of what no longer serves us, and embrace a path of spiritual liberation.
So after exploring all these stories, what's the key takeaway here? What do we want our listeners to walk away with?
I think the most important takeaway is that Hindu mythology, even though it's ancient, it offers this timeless wisdom that's still relevant today. These stories, they're more than just entertaining tales. They're reflections of ourselves, our desires, our struggles, our potential for growth and transformation.
It's like you're holding up this mirror to the human experience,
Absolutely.
showing us both the beauty and the complexities of who we are.
And by engaging with these stories, we can gain a deeper understanding of ourselves, our relationships, our place in this universe.
Well, we've reached the end of our deep dive into this fascinating world of Hindu goddesses. It's been an incredible journey exploring their power, their compassion, their complexities, and their timeless relevance.
It really has. It's been a pleasure delving into these stories with you, and I hope our listeners have, gained a new appreciation for the richness, the depth of Hindu mythology.
Me too.
Oh,
And remember, the Book of Devi, it's just a starting point.
it is.
There's a whole universe of myths and stories out there waiting to be explored. So keep reading, keep questioning, and keep that sense of wonder alive.
Beautifully said. And until next time, may the blessings of the goddesses be with you all on your journey of discovery.